Hello and welcome to episode 63 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And I hope everybody had a really nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We did.
We did. We really did.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it, I mean, as much as I love just getting together with family whenever we have the opportunity to do so, I think because I personally, and I think you shared this sentiment with me, I had some really big things to be grateful for.
Yeah, we have a lot to be thankful for this year.
Yes, we do. As we mentioned briefly last week, my dad went in for a pretty major surgery. It was actually open heart surgery last Monday. And so we've all been a little stressed and concerned and just worried about, the potential outcomes of that. And fortunately, I don't know, the stars aligned and everything went beautifully, and already Dad is healing very well and he's home, and it was just, we got to see him on Saturday and it was just amazing. Like he's doing as well as could possibly be expected.
He really is. He's, oh my God, what a trooper. He is like that textbook recovery so far. So
yeah, it's been incredible.
Yeah.
And so I am so hugely thankful for everyone who had anything to do with my dad's surgery and my dad's care during the time that he was in the hospital. So that is just absolutely enormous. My students asked me today how I was, and I'm like, I'm great. You know what? There's no such thing as stress right now.
yeah.
Because
Yeah, it was a huge relief. A lot of stress building up to the day of his surgery.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a big surgery. So the whole family was pretty, on pins and needles.
My gosh.
And once the doctors let us know that he made it through the surgery good, and he was in recovery, and it just all seemed to just kind of fall into place for him. So we all
really
could
did.
breathe a collective sigh of relief.
And we sure did. You could see that everybody, lost a few pounds.
Yeah. Worrying.
Just of worry.
Yeah.
So,
but we gained it all back on Thursday.
That's fair.
When we went to my sister's to celebrate Thanksgiving. And
which is our traditional place.
Yes. Yeah. My sister
Thanksgiving.
usually does host Thanksgiving. She too had a surgery not too long ago and is still recovering. So the whole family stepped up, and and her husband did the turkey for her. Mm-hmm. We do unfortunately still have meat eaters in our family. Mm-hmm. So they make a turkey, and we made our Gardein
holiday roast,
turkeyless roast,
which was awesome.
They're really good. I like those Gardein
really
roasts.
good.
Yeah. And I made 40 pounds of stuffing.
Yes.
And
10 pounds of mashed potatoes.
Yes, I know. I'm making the mashed potatoes. And I said to my sister, I brought 2 5-pound bags of potatoes, thinking maybe I would do 1 bag and 2 or 3 out of these. She says, just make them all. She says, make them all. Oh my God. It was so much mashed potatoes.
It was crazy.
What else? I made roasted Brussels sprouts. With balsamic vinegar.
Those were fabulous. And then we had the last minute request for mashed sweet potatoes.
Yeah, Lucy all of a sudden said, what? There's no sweet potatoes? So we sent Owen out to the store. Well, he was actually going for something else. And we frantically texted him and said, do not come back here without sweet potatoes. So I also made a sweet potato mash. Mm-hmm. What else did we have? My nephew made his famous green bean casserole.
Yes.
Which is also vegan, which was delicious.
Mm-hmm. And a beautiful salad.
Yep. And they made a beautiful green salad.
Yeah.
With all kinds of great stuff in it.
And we had your standard cranberry sauce out of a can. Because that's the best way to have it.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah. And then my nephew's fiance, Savannah, made her famous...
Or should be famous.
Pumpkin muffins.
Pumpkin cupcakes.
Cupcakes with this vegan cream cheese frosting. They're so good.
They're so good.
Wow.
There's actually still one in the fridge.
I know. I'm kind of like hoarding it.
Okay.
But we'll have to split it.
No, you can
Maybe
have it.
later tonight we'll split it in half and eat it.
That's fine. You can have it.
So that was our Thanksgiving. I hope everybody else had a good Thanksgiving and it wasn't too stressful, because I know for vegans it can be a stressful holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the food and all. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have any stress.
No.
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 We played games. The morning was great. It was like a perfect Thanksgiving. I love
really
Thanksgiving
was.
morning. I like to have the parade on in the background while I'm cooking. And it's just, there's something about that. It's just so holiday-ish.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it was awesome having Owen and Lucy here in the mornings. We were just hanging out in the living room, talking and watching the parade.
Yeah.
And I was sitting and knitting, and it was just a really chill morning.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
That's half the fun for me of Thanksgiving is the morning and cooking in the morning.
Yeah.
It reminds me of all those Thanksgivings when I was a kid and my mom would be cooking. And back then, she used to have to get up at like, I don't know, like the crack of dawn or whatever to get the turkey in. And there was just this feeling in the house, this holiday feeling with the parade going in the background and whatnot.
Yep.
So that's kind of almost my favorite part. But then we played games after dinner at my sister's, which was fun.
Oh, well, I mean, going back to to Dad for a second.
Okay.
And another thing that I am thankful for, I am thankful for Kip Anderson and Keegan Kuhn, the creators of What the Health. Because when we were back at the Vegan Summit in October, when we saw Dr. Michael Greger speak, I wrote my dad this really long email, telling him how much I loved him and how concerned I was about, his upcoming heart surgery and all of that, and that I wanted him to be around for a really long time. And so I gave him a bunch of resources that I thought, he might look into a little bit, kind of nudging him a little bit towards, perhaps considering reducing his meat and dairy intake. And so we got Dad home from the hospital on Saturday and went to visit and all of that good stuff. And he has confirmed that because of watching that documentary, he is going to be moving closer and closer to a plant-based diet.
Yay.
Which is amazing. And so I want to thank you, Kip and Keegan, because you accomplished what I never could have accomplished in a million years on my own.
I mean, you steered him in that direction with your very lovely and well thought out email that you drafted to him while we were at the summit. So, you were the impetus of the whole.
Right. But if the information had not been presented in such a thoughtful way, and in such an accessible way, I don't think the message would have gotten through in quite the same way. So I am just, What the Health is and will always be one of my favorite vegan-based documentaries.
Yeah, I think it really presents the information in a way that just about anybody can absorb. And I think What the Health is responsible for our veganism.
It's a big part of it.
And it's responsible for a lot of people's veganism. The way that movie was produced and the way the facts were presented is just, it's like, you're like, what?
Yeah. And so I'm just very, very grateful that film exists and that my dad was willing to watch it and that he is now moving towards being plant-based.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, we went down there Saturday morning, planning on cooking a bunch of meals so that Sam's mom didn't have to worry about cooking and everything while she was overseeing Larry's recovery.
Yeah.
And she said, make sure you stop at the house first before you hit the grocery store because I have a lot of stuff in my refrigerator. And we get there, the refrigerator is just packed full of vegetables.
Amazing.
It was basically all that was in the refrigerator.
Pretty much. And we noticed also that the milk, there were 2 milks and they were coconut and oat. There was no dairy milk.
Your mom bought the coconut milk, she said, for a recipe, which she turned out not liking. But...
Didn't like, but okay. And there were still dairy items. There was cream cheese, there were sliced cheeses, there were some processed meats in there.
Yeah, it's a project. It's a project.
It's definitely a project. And it's just very, very cool that Dad in particular is so very open to it.
Yeah.
I just think it's fabulous.
I think it's the best thing that he could do for himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of all of our ethical views on veganism and all that, with animal liberation and all that stuff, regardless of all that, it is the best decision that he could make for his health, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably why, because when he was talking about it, he would specifically use the term plant-based, not vegan.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, we don't care how people get there as long as they get there.
That's right.
So we are currently coming to you. It's a fireside chat.
Yes, this is fireside chat.
We have the blaring 4K fire going on the YouTube on the TV. I have a snifter of Bailey's almond cream going. So we're in full holiday mode over here.
We're not decorated yet.
Not yet.
No.
I was putting some snowflakes on the windows.
Yes.
Which
kind of tells me that maybe Christine will start decorating while I'm at work tomorrow.
I think tomorrow I'm going to go out and look for some more outside Christmas lights because a lot of ours stopped working last year, and it could be because we got a lot of rain.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they're the stores aren't out of them already because, they start selling them in September. So.
Right.
So that'll it'll all depend on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing we wanted to touch on, kind of taking a little turn for something less pleasant, is we want to talk about roadkill.
Okay. So it's funny. As we were driving down to my parents on Saturday to do some cooking for my mom and to see Dad, we're driving along and I was telling Christine about something that I had seen on another drive of ours north a few days earlier. And I told her that I had seen a deer that had obviously been hit by a car, but the coat and all of that still looked pretty pristine. There wasn't a lot of visible damage. But what was visible was that the deer had very clearly been decapitated.
Yeah.
That probably after the deer's death, someone came along and cut off its head.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate and very disturbing.
Yes.
To think that somebody would do that.
Yes. And I was disturbed by it. And I didn't mention it while we were driving past it because it freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
I was made very uncomfortable by that. And so anyway, as we're driving south to go see my folks on Saturday, Christine noticed another deer, different part, same road, different part of the road that had also been decapitated.
Yeah. I'm assuming that these were probably bucks and that somebody took the head as a trophy either for their rack or for their entire head altogether.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
But regardless, it is so disturbing that somebody would stop and do that.
It really is. I mean, we certainly have a reasonable amount of... We see a reasonable number of dead animals on the road throughout the year. There are a lot of wooded areas where we live.
Yeah, it's pretty rural.
It's pretty rural, so, that's to be expected to a certain degree. But I had never seen an animal by the side of the road that had so obviously been, I don't even know what to, I don't
mutilated.
Even know the word. There you go. Thank you. Yes, yeah. That had so very obviously been mutilated.
Yeah.
Purposefully mutilated.
It's just so disrespectful to the animal,
It really, really is. And so I don't know if this is like a new thing. Because I've never seen it before, and then two in the space of 3 days.
I don't think it's a new thing. I think we've just unfortunately happened to see it.
Yeah.
In multiple cases
right.
in the recent past. So
yeah.
But you were talking about, was it an article or something you were reading about?
Oh no. Okay. It was a chapter in Judy Carmen's lovely book, Veggie Soup for the Chicken Soul.
Oh, that
Peace for All.
You're narrating in her,
that I narrated.
You're narrating her audiobook?
Yes. So it was a chapter in that book that spoke about what to do when you see animals on the side of the road or in the road, and spoke about several people who, keep a shovel or a spade in their car. And whenever they see an animal on the road, they will very gently scoop them up and at the very least move them to the side of the road where they won't be in danger of being hit over and over again. So it allows, the animal some dignity,
right?
And allows nature to take its course,
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
I do too.
And if you do that, just remember, do it very carefully.
Yes.
Watch for traffic.
Of course.
Don't, put yourself into danger
No.
to move a dead animal off the road. But I do like the idea of doing that.
I do too. And I think that may be something that I start doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep some gloves and a shovel in
Gloves
the back
and a
of the
shovel
car.
in the back of the car. Yep.
Yeah, so that was a little disturbing.
It really was.
Sorry to bring you down.
It really was.
With
But
that.
I just felt the need to talk about it because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, I knew it happened, and I have seen it before in the past.
Oh, really?
But not like all of a sudden we just started seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's because I think it's hunting season.
Well, I mean, of
and
course
so maybe
there's that.
the bucks are being flushed out and that there's just more of them on the road. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had a couple of them walk out onto the road in front of us.
Oh, yes.
Younger male deer.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's it. I don't know. But it's really disturbing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So enough of that. Ooh,
Yeah.
shake it
Yeah.
off.
Let's move on to something more pleasant.
Yeah. Shake it off.
Yeah.
Shake it off.
Okay.
I did do a recipe this week.
Yeah, you did.
So let's talk about this week's Vegan Cookbook Challenge recipe of the week.
Woohoo!
This week, I made a recipe out of a book that's just called Cauliflower. That's what the book is called.
How can you go wrong?
It's called Cauliflower. Recipes for salads, sandwiches, entrees, and more. Now, this isn't a completely vegan cookbook,
It is not.
but almost all the recipes are vegan because
Cauliflower.
cauliflower. And, I really like the idea of having more books that are ingredient specific like this. Mm-hmm. Because, say you have too much cauliflower or too much broccoli or whatever.
Okay, first, can I say I don't think there is such a thing as too much cauliflower and
Right.
too much broccoli?
Or maybe you just, you have it in there and it needs to be used up.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
for
it's been
sure.
in there for, a few more days than it should be or whatever. It is nice to have books like this that you can just go, oh, I have too much cauliflower. Let me pull out my cauliflower book
Yeah.
and make something out of the cauliflower book.
Instead of having to hunt through.
Right,
other books,
right.
yeah.
Because I often do that. I'm like, what do I have in the refrigerator? And then, I'll go to the index of my cookbooks
Sure.
and look that ingredient up
Yeah.
and try and find a recipe based on the ingredient. But the ingredient specific cookbooks are really cool. Now, there's no author to this. This is just put out by a publishing company.
Yeah.
So we'll, share a link in the show notes for it. But this week I made out of this book curried cauliflower and potatoes.
Again, how can you go wrong?
You can. This is
No.
a very, very good recipe.
It was
and
outstanding.
simple. There are 2 instructions in this recipe. There is a list of ingredients and then 2 instructions.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
it?
mean, well, the first instruction is, has quite a few words in it.
Oh, well, okay.
But all the recipes in this book only have I think the most I saw was 5 steps. So they're not, in depth or difficult recipes at all by any means.
That's great.
Yeah. So what did you think of this cauliflower dish?
Oh, I was very, very happy with it. Now, Christine was just an absolutely wonderful wife and
Per usual.
per usual, yes, but she made me, because she knows that I want to consume as many vegetables as possible on a daily basis. She made a huge salad that she then put my curried cauliflower and potatoes on top of.
Yes. Sam always wants the big salad.
I
And
do.
And if I go a few days without giving her the big salad, she says, I really want some vegetables. I'm like, all I've been cooking are vegetables.
Right.
I want raw vegetables.
But there's something about raw vegetables,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I would ever be able to do, high raw vegan. And
No.
I don't think I would be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's something to aspire to, and I think it's something absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's practical for us, but I do like eating large quantities of raw vegetables.
Yeah.
Every week. And so, yeah, if there's not a big salad in my future, at least every other day,
Yeah, she gets sad.
I do.
Yeah.
I start missing them.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things is to take a salad and then put a warm grain and a warm roasted or, curried or seasoned somehow vegetable on top. And so this is what Christine did for me today. She made me a nice big salad and then put the curried cauliflower and potatoes on top. And I topped them with a little tiny bit of ranch dressing. Now that's going to sound strange. Okay.
I thought it
And-
was a little weird.
Yes, Christine thought it was weird, but the ranch dressing actually acted like a raita.
Right, which is a traditional yogurt
Yes, usually
sauce.
cucumber. Yeah,
Right.
usually cucumber and yogurt based. Kind of like the Indian version of tzatziki.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way
And
to describe it.
So it balances the heat and the spice from the curried cauliflower and potatoes.
With
And
the
so,
cool creaminess. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And it didn't, as I was eating it, because the ranchy flavor mixed with the curry flavor, it no longer read as ranch.
That's cool.
It read as something cool and creamy.
Yeah.
And it was delightful.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
Absolutely
it worked
delightful.
out for you because I had my doubts about that.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
Very
And I
good.
just had mine in a bowl. It was so good and warming.
Yeah.
Because this time of year, I don't really want a big salad. So I made Sam her big salad and I just ate the cauliflower and potatoes in a bowl and they were good.
Hey, that works for me.
Yeah. And I like anything curried.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you love cauliflower,
As we do.
yeah, this could be a good book for you. And like I said, I'll put a link for it in the show notes.
And just so you know, if I remember correctly, I picked that up at an Ollie's.
Oh, was that an Ollie's purchase?
I'm pretty sure that was an Ollie's
Okay.
purchase. Yeah, if you do go to stores like Ollie's,
They do have good books at Ollie's.
you can get some really good books at Ollie's. I was going to say at Big Lots also, but Big Lots doesn't really have a book section.
Nah, not anymore. They did used to, but I
Did they
don't
really?
think, yeah, I don't think they do anymore.
Yeah, but no, Ollie's, you can really find a lot in their book section.
Yeah, good tip.
Yeah,
Good
very
tip.
good tip. And very inexpensively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of cool and creamy, if you like
That was a segue.
if you like Irish cream, this Bailey's almond Irish cream is really good.
There you go.
Yeah, it hits the spot.
It's one of the flavors of Christmas.
It tastes like Christmas. It's like Christmas in a cup.
There you go. Or in your case, in a brandy snifter.
It's really a beer glass, but it's shaped like a
It looks like a brandy snifter.
Yeah. It's a beer snifter.
Okay.
So that was our recipe of the week.
It was.
Our main topic this week is we just thought we would reach out to the interwebs and see what kind of new stuff is happening in the world of veganism. Yeah, good news from the UK. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak appoints a vegan as head of environmental policy. Now, hey, we need more vegans in environmental policy.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
do. Oh my gosh. This is potentially huge.
And it says the appointment comes after Rishi Sunak was criticized for yo-yoing on his decision to attend the COP27.
Right.
Yes, so he hired a vegan by the name of Mira Vadir as his head of environmental policy. He took he's a new prime minister. It seems like the UK has gotten a new prime minister every other week recently.
Recently, yes.
Yeah. But he took over the role in October and is said to have made that decision to improve his green credentials. So I don't know if he's just trying to greenwash himself or what's going on
You
there.
know what? Whether that is his reasoning for it or not,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the plant-based versus vegan thing.
It
Don't
doesn't
care
matter.
how we get there.
It doesn't
You know,
matter.
there's still going to be a vegan heading up environmental policy in the UK.
Yeah, and
That's amazing.
Apparently, Vadir's social media bio says she's a vegan with a strong desire to smash the jargon and simplify politics and current affairs.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
So I am really looking forward to following that.
Yeah. She has, however, since taking the position, changed her bio to remove all details about her veganism.
Interesting.
Yeah. I find that interesting also. I guess she doesn't want to seem
Biased.
or
That there's a conflict of interest
or
or something.
radical, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Isn't that amazing that the word vegan can still be considered radical?
Yeah. Yeah, so she's supposed to take on the role next year. She began her political career in 2011 as a parliamentary assistant to Edward Garnier, who was then a conservative MP. So she does have definitely some political experience.
Yes, but I'm really, really excited about this, and I'm very interested to see what this does and what she is able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, it really does smack of Sunak really just trying to save face because he wasn't planning on going to that summit. Mm-hmm. And he got a lot of flack for that. So
sure. But you know what? I'm willing to look past that.
Yeah.
And just say whatever the reasoning behind the appointment, that was really that's really great.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, it's good news in my book.
Absolutely.
What other news do we have out there?
Well, you did send some information about a new documentary coming out. I do not know when the release date is.
Yeah, we don't have a release date yet.
Don't have a release date. There's a very exciting new documentary in production called I Could Never Go Vegan.
Mm-hmm. Love the title.
Love the title. Like, I think that is fabulous. And it is specifically exploring the many reasons why people feel that they cannot go vegan. Mm-hmm. And just watching the trailer, which I will link to in the next episode of the newsletter, which I will be sending out on Friday. I'm sorry that there have not been many newsletters lately.
Due to the kind of craziness in our families going on right now, the newsletter's kind of taken a backseat. But I can also put a link to that in the show notes for this episode.
But even the trailer is just wonderful, and it talks about all of the different reasons people say they can't go vegan, from things as simple as, well, cheese and bacon. And,
right. But bacon, though.
But bacon. And
plants feel pain, too.
Climate change is a myth.
Yeah, so this film apparently is going to
address all of those things.
Rebut all of those all of those reasons why people think that they can't go vegan. And that's good. Give them answers to those things.
Yeah. So another thing I'm really looking forward to, like I said, we don't have a release date. It just says coming soon.
Yeah. Well, this article says it's scheduled to release on December 26th, but we don't know. There's no information on whether it's going to be a theatrical release or if the film will be available via streaming anywhere.
So I was wrong. We do have a tentative release date, which is December 26th.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a film by Thomas Pickering and his brother James Pickering, who wrote and co-produced it. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, me too.
And when it comes out, we'll definitely do a review on it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I don't know that we'll watch it on the 26th.
Yeah, because we don't know where it's going to be available. So.
Right. That's right. We don't know if it's streaming. But even if it wasn't, that's our Christmas day.
Yeah. So another good news. Good news. Here's something really cool. PETA is offering a $1 million in their $1 million vegan wool challenge. What they're doing is offering $1 million to anyone that can come up with a vegan wool replacement that really emulates real wool, and if they can get it adopted and sold by a major clothing brand. They'll give you $1 million.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's awesome.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Now, my question, though, to PETA would be, what exactly are they looking for? Because being someone who works with yarn on a pretty regular basis, I can say that there are already a number of yarn brands out there who produce acrylic or polyester yarns that do resemble wool.
I think they're actually looking for a fabric.
Oh, I see. So not a yarn, a fabric.
Yeah, no, it says PETA is setting out to save sheep by encouraging the development of a vegan wool material that is visually, texturally, and functionally akin or better than sheep's wool.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, yes. So they're offering $1 million to the first entrant who can create such a material and has it adopted and sold by a major clothing brand.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's serious incentive.
Definitely good incentive.
And if you think that you are someone who could actually create one of these vegan wool materials, you can mail samples. You submit an online form and mail samples of the fabric to PETA, and that must be done by July 28th, 2023.
Yeah, so if you have a vegan wool fabric in your back pocket right now, you might want to...
now is the time to introduce it to the world.
Start hitting up clothing makers and see if you can get anybody to buy into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interestingly, sheep are second only to cows when it comes to their production of greenhouse gas methane.
Yeah.
And the huge flocks of sheep bred in the wool industry produce enormous amounts of manure, which pollutes the water, the land, and the air.
Yep.
Sheep farming can have detrimental effects on surrounding ecosystems. Studies have shown that sheep dip, a toxic chemical used to rid sheep of external parasites, can poison nearby waterways and kill fish.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wool is bad. I mean, people say, you don't kill a sheep to get its wool, but it's just the production of the sheep is the problem.
Exactly.
And they don't, it's not a great experience if you want to know what it looks like, a sheep shearing production on a mass scale.
It's not pretty.
It's not fun for them.
And it is not fun for them.
No.
No, not at all.
So if that's the only reason, if you want an animal reason to not wear or use wool, there's that.
Yeah.
But if you want an environmental reason, there's tons of environmental information out there
Absolutely.
as to why we do not want to be raising and breeding thousands of sheep.
Yes.
So, yeah. I wish I was smart enough to do something like that. Get the $1 million.
I have a feeling we will not be the winners of this $1 million award.
Yeah, probably not.
It's just a hunch.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of people out there that, are like fabric artists or what do they call that? What do they call people who use fabrics in their arts? I can't remember. There's a word for it. But I bet there's some out there that are creating something in that vein that they can reach out to a clothing company and say.
I have no doubt. There's got to be folks out there who have created.
Textiles. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Textile artists.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know where you were going. I'm sorry.
I didn't, obviously. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of good news. With the holidays coming, we're a little all over the place, so I'm sorry if this seemed kind of rambly and whatnot. But, yeah, between Sam's dad and Thanksgiving and holiday stuff coming up, it's kind of hard for me to focus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's understandable.
Yeah.
But we will try to get back to our holiday-focused episodes next week.
So on to housekeeping. We're looking for your help for an upcoming episode, and we're going to call it Listener Holiday Favorites. We want to know your favorites. So email us or DM us your favorite holiday movies, songs, traditions, and foods. We want this episode to be all about our listeners, and I think this would be so fun.
Yes. Oh, it would be a blast.
We already do have some entries, but if you haven't gotten your entry in yet, get it in because I want to do this episode either next week or the week following.
Yeah.
You can email us that information. Again, that is your favorite holiday movie, holiday song, holiday tradition, and holiday food. Email it to us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com. And that's compassion and spelled out cucumbers @gmail.com. Or you can DM us on our Instagram account. We're still holding our Food Not Bombs fundraiser at Buy Me a Coffee. How do people do that?
You can go find us at buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers.
That would be great. Food Not Bombs is a really fantastic organization, and we're fundraising specifically for the Buffalo chapter, and they provide vegan meals for people in the Buffalo area that are having food insecurity.
Yep, they're awesome. We love them.
Yep. What else do we got?
We also want to make folks aware that Hoodies for the Homeless is collecting gently used hoodies, sweatshirts, and other warm clothing for people in need in the Buffalo area. Items can be dropped off at Wellness in the Village at 13219 Broadway in Alden, New York.
Yeah, they can have the hoodie I'm wearing right now because this Irish cream is making me hot. I'm burning up over here. I'm having a little bit of a heat
well,
flash.
we'll put that in the donate box right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Join our Patreon. We have 3 different levels of support that you can do if you become a patron, and you can get all kinds of fun merch. And we're going to be doing bonus episodes and all kinds of stuff on there. So join our Patreon. Any money we make through the Patreon will be used to improve the show so we can bring it to more people like you.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
Another great thing you could do if you are so interested is to leave us a review on your podcast app if it allows you to do so. And you know that if you leave one of those reviews, Christine's looking for
5 stars, baby.
Yes.
5 stars.
Really, I'm not picky about the stars. I just like the feedback. Feedback is good.
Yeah, feedback is great. I think it's one of the hardest things to get as a creator in any medium, actually, is to get feedback from people.
It's really true.
You know?
Yep.
So when you're sitting at home and you're listening to our podcast and you, I don't know, you have some kind of nitpick, like Christine sounded like she needed to burp through that whole last segment or something. Shoot me an email or shoot us a DM on our Instagram and let us know what you like, what you don't like, things you want us to talk about, things you think we talk about too much.
That's right. We are not hypersensitive. We will not take offense.
No. Criticism is always welcome. Constructive.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Share the show with a friend or a family member if you think they would like what we do. Chirpy just had I just trimmed Chirpy's claws. Chirpy's one of our cats, if you don't know. And he's been going around trying the new claws out on everything because he's kind of surprised that he can't get them into things.
Yeah. He's been like, very confused.
What's going on? Anyway. Where did I leave off?
Share the show.
Yeah. Share the show with a friend or a family member. Do it. Share it.
All right.
Do it.
Okay.
What's next on there?
Let's see. You can share our social media posts. Yes, all of Christine's wonderful social media work. Go ahead, like it, share it, comment on it.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit more visibility. It is the easiest way to support us, and it costs you nothing but a few seconds of your time.
Doesn't cost a dime.
Nope.
Not even a dime.
Not even.
Oh, get this week's cookbook. I'll have the link for it in the show notes.
And we also want to encourage you to join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub and to donate to that organization if you can to support their lobbying efforts in Washington, D.C. leading up to the new Farm Bill.
Speaking of the Agriculture Fairness Alliance, if you have joined the Vegan Voter Hub or at least have signed up on their email list, you should have received an email today about some calls to action. Check your email for those and definitely do the calls to action. Okay, the first call to action, I think, is to join the Vegan Voter Hub.
Yes.
So do that. The second call to action is to sign this action alert, and the alert calls on Congress to move a child nutrition legislation before the end of the year. Within this legislation is increased funding that will expand plant-based school meals and increase equity by removing barriers preventing children from accessing non-dairy milk.
Awesome.
This is a collaboration action item between vegan orgs and non-vegan orgs alike with similar end goals when it comes to fruits and veggies and non-dairy milk. This action was sent to us on behalf of legislative advocacy of Friends of the Earth and Chili's on Wheels, which is another great organization.
Nice.
The next action is in relation to the above thing that I was just telling you about. Email your senator using a template. There's a template on here that tells you, and all you have to do is put your name in there, and they even have a link so that you can search for your senator's contact information. So if you haven't signed up for the Vegan Voter Hub, I highly recommend that you do. And if you are, please check your email and act on these calls to action that they sent out today.
Cool. And finally, of course, we have to mention that we will be at the Christmas vegan pop-up market at the Vegan Center in Tonawanda on December 17th. We're super excited about it. I have been knitting up a storm.
Sam has been nonstop knitting.
And
yeah, so if you're in the area and you're in the market for either gifting or for yourself a nice scarf,
some beautiful scarves or cowls or wraps.
She has some that are like wraps, and it's like wrapping a Muppet around yourself.
It seriously is. They are so soft.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I found this incredible chenille yarn. Gorgeous.
Yeah. So we'll be there at the Vegan Center on December 17th for the holiday pop-up.
Can't wait.
It's exciting.
Yay.
So I think that's it. That wraps it all up.
It does.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope everybody is getting excited for the holiday season. I know not everybody does get excited for the holiday season. So we hope that we can bring a little bit of cheer to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And make sure you send us those favorites. We really want to include everybody in that favorites episode. If you don't send us your favorites, we're just going to have to fill up the time with all of ours again.
You know, that could happen.
Yep.
But we'd rather talk about you.
We do. We want to talk about you. We don't make you the star.
That's right.
Yes. All right, I guess that's it. We'll wrap this up. You just listened to episode 63 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks. We love you. Bye-bye. Do you want to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast? Well, you can do that by joining our Patreon page. We have 3 different levels of support, and all 3 come with their own special bonuses. Hey, you can support the podcast and get yourself some really cool merch. All the links and deets are in the show notes. We'll catch you next week on the next episode of Compassion and Cucumbers.